Let's be real. Good habits, they aren't very easy to form. And bad habits, we keep doing them on a daily basis and sometimes we don't even know about it. As I covered in the previous episode, I spoke about how to break bad habits. There also has to be a way to form good habits, right? That's what I'm going to be covering in today's episode. When I began with my journey, as I spoke about in episode 1, when I started working out and doing the things I started to love and forming hobbies which were actually good for me, I did use a lot of these strategies when I first started out. Now guys, before you start a good habit, you must first find a foundation to that good habit. The first thing you should do is to define the cue. Think of it as a reminder. Setting your book on your bed every morning so that when you see it, you always have that cue to read it. Every time you keep it somewhere where you pass by a lot, you're going to pass by, you're going to see it, and you're most likely to read it. Or at least think about it. In step 2, to forming the foundation to your good habit, you have to identify the craving. This is your motivation behind the habit. Why do you want to read more? Maybe it's because you love learning or you find it relaxing. The only thing is, guys, your energy levels, you need to understand that before you actually start a good habit, you must have the motivation and the energy. Motivation is different, but the energy, you need that energy to actually start that good habit. Now, how do you form that energy? I'm pretty sure a lot of us, when we wake up in the morning, we don't feel like doing anything. It's really difficult to already get out of bed. I'll even have trouble waking up sometimes. If you guys actually do want to get up every morning feeling energetic so that you can actually do these good habits, the first thing you should do is actually go outside in your balcony or go outside in your park and actually absorb some sunlight. I'm sure a lot of you are lacking vitamin D, alright? I am. I'm sure you guys are too. We need to realize that it's actually very easy to beat most of the population because most of the population aren't ready to actually do things which they're supposed to do, even be out in the sunlight. And you guys, if you really do want the energy to start these good habits I'm talking about, you need that energy. And how are you going to get that energy? The number one thing you can do is go out in the sunlight and actually absorb some sunlight, especially in the morning. Now guys, let's talk about building good habits. How do you build good habits? We have the foundation, but we don't have what we need to build good habits. Now, the first step to actually starting a good habit would be to make it obvious. That's what's spoken about in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. To start a good habit, you have to design your environment for that habit. For example, if I want to start exercising, as I said before, the example of exercising, if I keep my weights next to my bed every single day or next to my wardrobe, for example, every time I pass by my wardrobe or my bed, I'm going to see those weights and I'm going to be like, oh, okay, I need to work out today. I gave the same example in the last episode with the badminton racket. I don't know if you all remember. If you watched it, you'll know what I mean. If we see the weights every day, we are prompted, our brain prompts us to exercise, and we have that reminder every single time to do that exercise. Now, the second point is to make it attractive. Connect the habit with something enjoyable to create a positive association. You can use temptation bundling. If you don't know what temptation bundling is, pairing the habit you want to start with something you already enjoy. If you want to read more, listen to your favorite music beforehand to increase motivation. Say you want to study also for an hour. Before studying for an hour, maybe listen to music for 15 minutes, something you actually enjoy. Or maybe listen to music while you're studying to make it a little more enjoyable for you. The third point, which I feel like is the most important one, is to make it easy. Lower any barriers that make it difficult to start the habit. If your goal is to read more, as I said before, I'm going to be using the same example. Start by reading just 1 page a day. This eases the habit into your routine without overwhelming you. Why will you start off by reading 20 pages and then your brain feels tired and then you're just sleepy all of a sudden because you've drained all your mind power onto one book? How would you want to do that to yourself? Take it easy, read 1 page at a time, 1% progress every single day. That's the main quote of the book. Lower any barriers making it harder to do. And if you do want to break a bad habit, you need to make it even harder to do. Basically just the opposite to make a bad habit go away. It could be as easy as, if you wanted to start studying more often, keep your laptop on your table all charged up so that whenever you want to study, you can just sit down on your table, open the laptop and have everything ready for yourself. And then guys, the fourth point is to just make it satisfying. At the end of the day, if we're not satisfied with the good habit, or if we're not feeling satisfied while doing it, how will we end up staying consistent with it? Reinforce the habit with a reward or sense of accomplishment, which gives you a reason to repeat it. Tracking progress can provide this sense of reward. If you're exercising, keep track of your progress on a weekly basis to see, oh, Monday, gone to the gym, Tuesday, gone to the gym, so that you feel that sense of accomplishment, and it'll actually keep you consistent with the habit. I promise you, it does really work. Even on a calendar, if you write down what you're going to do the whole month and you tick off every time you finish that habit, it'll be great. Now guys, we've spoken about building habits, and all these tips, I promise you, will be very useful for you. What if we now start talking about a daily routine? Right now, I'm going to talk about something which will probably contradict everything you know about. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why you shouldn't actually have a daily routine for all your habits. Now, this may seem a little off topic. The whole time we've been talking about good habits and bad habits, you are probably wondering, oh, well, I'm trying to implement good habits into my life so that I can make it a routine and I keep doing it every single day. The only problem with a routine is that it creates a crutch in your life. Say every day when you wake up, you have a cup of coffee. This cup of coffee wakes you up and you're pumped for the day and you have all the energy you need to get started with your tasks. And anything which is hard to do becomes easier because you're awake. But the only thing is that the day you don't have coffee, you're going to think to yourself, oh, I can't function. I haven't had my daily cup of coffee. The coffee is your crutch. The day you don't have coffee or the day you forget to have coffee is the day where you literally do nothing. Why? Because of one simple task you do on a daily basis. This is what happens when you create a routine. And when you're creating a routine, even for good habits, say for example, every morning at 8 a.m. you want to get up and you want to go to the gym. If you don't wake up at 8 a.m., you're not going to the gym. Problem is, the days where your alarm doesn't go off or the days where you don't wake up, you're just going to decide, no, I'm not working out today. This is a bit of a problem. And a lot of you probably think that routines are actually good for you. Yes, part of it is. But when you make things a crutch in your life, it becomes challenging. So one thing you should keep in mind is that when you create a routine, make sure that some things can be changed. Don't set a specific time for things. Don't set a specific place for things. And definitely don't blame it on anyone else if you fail to do that thing. Just remember, a routine is something you do on a daily basis. So keep that in mind, because sometimes you need a little bit of change in your life. You need a little bit of a vacation from the normal things you do. Thank you all for staying with me throughout this episode. And episode 3 is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be talking about how to actually make progress in your life and the dream life you want to live.